Sony and Canon are officially in danger, because Nikon might have just taken the lead in the camera race. And the craziest part, Nikon is about to launch a monster, a true flagship upgrade that could shake the entire industry. I'm talking about the Nikon Z9 Mark II. And trust me, what's coming next might actually surprise you. Now, if you've been following the camera world, you already know that the original Nikon Z9 was not just a camera. It was a statement. It proved that Nikon could compete at the highest level with brands like Sony and Canon. No mechanical shutter, insane speed, powerful video features. It changed how people looked at mirrorless cameras. But here's the thing, technology never stops. And in 2026, standing still means falling behind. Sony has been pushing boundaries with cameras like the Sony A1, and Canon is preparing its next big moves with flagship models. So the pressure on Nikon was real. People were asking, can Nikon still keep up, or was the Z9 just a one-time success? Well, if the latest leaks and rumors are even close to being true, Nikon is not just keeping up, they might actually be about to dominate. The Nikon Z9 Mark II is expected to bring some serious upgrades, starting with a brand new stacked sensor. And if you're wondering why that matters, imagine shooting ultra-fast action without any lag, capturing every single moment with perfect precision. Sports photographers, wildlife shooters, this is exactly what they've been waiting for. But it doesn't stop there. Video performance is where things get really interesting. The current Z9 already supports 8K video, which is insane on its own. But the Z9 Mark II is expected to take this even further. Better heat management, longer recording times, improved image processing. This could turn it into a true hybrid beast, not just for photographers, but for filmmakers and content creators as well. And let's be honest, in today's world, cameras are not just about photos anymore. Everyone wants cinematic video, smooth slow motion, and professional level output. If Nikon gets this right, they're not just competing, they're leading. Now let's talk about speed, because this is where things could get crazy. The Z9 was already fast, but the Mark II might push it to another level. We're talking about faster burst shooting, better buffer performance, and near-instant image processing. Imagine capturing a bird mid-flight or a split-second sports moment and not missing a single frame. That's the kind of power we're expecting here. And then comes autofocus, one of the most important features in any modern camera. Autofocus technology has become a battlefield between brands. Sony has been dominating this space for years, with incredibly accurate subject tracking. Canon is not far behind either. So Nikon had to step up. And it looks like they're doing exactly that. The Nikon Z9 Mark II is expected to feature advanced AI-based autofocus. That means better face detection, eye tracking, and subject recognition, not just for humans, but for animals, vehicles, and more. In real-world use, this means fewer missed shots and more keepers. Now here's where things get really interesting. If all these upgrades actually make it into the final product, then cameras like the Sony A1 and the Canon EOS R1 might finally have a serious competitor. Or maybe even something to worry about. Because this isn't just about specs anymore. It's about real-world performance. It's about reliability, speed, and consistency. And Nikon seems to be focusing on exactly that. But before you get too excited, there's something important you need to understand. Everything we're talking about right now is based on leaks and expectations. Nikon hasn't officially confirmed all these details yet. And as we've seen before, sometimes reality can be different from rumors. There's also the question of price. Let's be real. This is going to be an expensive camera. The original Z9 was already in the premium category. And with all these upgrades, the Z9 Mark II could be even more expensive. So this is not a camera for everyone. If you're a beginner, or even an intermediate user, this might be overkill. But if you're a professional, someone who shoots sports, wildlife, or high-end video, then this could be exactly what you need. And that's what makes this launch so interesting. Because Nikon is not trying to please everyone. They're targeting the top, the professionals, the creators who demand the best. So the real question is the Nikon Z9 Mark II going to be worth the upgrade? If you already own a Z9, The answer will depend on how big these improvements actually are in real-world use. But if you're using an older camera, or thinking about switching brands, this might be the perfect moment. Because if Nikon delivers what they're promising, this could easily become one of the best cameras of 2026. And maybe, just maybe, the camera that finally puts Nikon ahead in the race. Now let's talk about the two things everyone is waiting for: the release date and the price of the Nikon Z9 II. Because this is where things get really interesting. Right now, Nikon has not officially announced the camera yet, but according to multiple leaks and industry rumors, the Nikon Z9 Mark II is expected to launch sometime in 2026, and not just any time. Many sources suggest that the announcement could happen after March 2026, while some reports are even pointing towards a late 2026 release window. And here's where it gets even more surprising. Originally, this camera was expected much earlier, possibly late 2025 or early 2026, but due to delays in development and issues like advanced sensor and processor production, Nikon seems to be taking more time to perfect this flagship. And honestly, that might actually be a good thing, because instead of rushing the product, Nikon is clearly trying to build something that can truly compete with the best cameras from Sony and Canon, something that doesn't just match them, but possibly beats them. There are even rumors that this camera was being tested around major global events, like the Winter Olympics, which shows how serious Nikon is about real-world performance. Now let's talk about the price, because this is where most people might get shocked. If we look at the current Nikon Z9, it already sits in the premium category. So for the Z9 Mark II, don't expect anything cheap. Based on leaks and market trends, the expected price could be somewhere between $5,500 to $6,500, or even higher depending on the final specs. And if Nikon actually delivers all the rumored upgrades, better sensor, improved 8K video, faster performance, AI autofocus, then honestly, that price might make sense for professionals. But for casual users or beginners, this is definitely not going to be an affordable camera. And that brings us to the real question: is it worth waiting for the Nikon Z9 Mark II? Or should you just go with the current Z9 or other options available right now? Because if the launch gets delayed further, you might be waiting longer than expected. But if Nikon gets everything right, this could easily become one of the most powerful cameras ever made. And this is exactly why Sony and Canon might actually be in trouble. Because for the first time in a long time, Nikon is not playing catch-up anymore. They're pushing forward. With the Nikon Z9 II, Nikon is focusing on what truly matters: real-world performance, speed, reliability, and serious video power. If these leaks turn out to be true, Nikon won't just compete with cameras like the Sony A1 or the Canon EOS R1. They might actually outperform them in key areas that professionals care about the most. We're talking about faster shooting speeds, smarter AI autofocus, better heat management for long video recording, and a camera that feels built not just for specs, but for actual use in the field. And that's where Sony and Canon could start losing ground. Because right now, the competition is no longer about who has the best numbers on paper. It's about who delivers the most reliable and powerful experience in real-life situations. And Nikon seems to be targeting exactly that. But here's the twist: if Nikon gets this right, they don't just win this round. They shift the entire balance of the camera industry. More creators might switch systems. More professionals might reconsider their gear, and suddenly, the brands that were leading for years might have to catch up. So yes, Sony and Canon are not out of the game. Not even close. But for the first time in a long time, they might actually be under pressure. And now the real question is, are we about to see Nikon take the crown in 2026? Or is this just another wave of hype that won't live up to expectations? Let me know what you think. Would you switch to Nikon for this?